Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the keeper for today's game of Call of Cthulhu, 7th edition. Today we are playing Cults of Cthulhu, which is the game that you can see just here. It recently won an Emmy for Best Supplement, and it is a fantastic game that you should all pick up from Chaosium.com. We are going to be continuing with the second episode of our little adventure here with our fantastic cast. But first, before I have them introduce themselves, I am going to say thank you to Sirenscape and to Roll20, tools which we use to improve our game. Without further ado, I will now throw across to Art, who will introduce their character. Art, can you tell us who you're playing?
Hi, I'm Art, and I am playing Dr. Franklin Smythe, a medical doctor and occultist who is just the toy maker from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I've decided is just creepy, just proper creepy. And if you don't get that reference, you're either too young or you haven't seen the film, and both are not my problem. Dr. Franklin Smythe, I think last we left him, was wandering the streets of Santa Monica? Is that where we are?
I think you technically made it down to Venice, but just about, yes.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So, yes, wandering the streets, pondering some of the information they've learned and being far too interested with by roadkill.
We've had a little bit of a view of what Dr. Smythe likes to do in terms of picking up birds and things like that. Can you give us a little bit of a sense if what we have seen is the most creepy, or are there other creepy things going on just behind the scenes?
Well, I suppose that entirely depends on how you define creepy.
I guess so. All right, well then, let's jump across to Jackson, and we'll have you introduce yourself.
That's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing Mandy Jenkins, previous cop turned PI, and he is hard-boiled, or at least he ordered hard-boiled, and came out lightly poached, and then he missed the chance to say something to the waiter. And they seem really busy. It's the breakfast morning lunch. He doesn't want to kick up a fuss. So then when they come over and ask how everything is, he says everything's fine.
Does the persistent baby-faced attitude and the unwillingness to get into any direct confrontation work as a secret weapon, or is it just a hindrance?
It sure could.
But it remains to be seen. Okay, fantastic. And finally, last but not least, we have Alex playing Ethel.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Ethel Walters, who at one point in her life did some things that, on the wrong side of the law, and then she found Jesus. Still willing to throw a punch. Prefers to finish fights rather than start them. But if she doesn't see you in church on Sunday, she will throw hands.
Fantastic. All right, and with that, we will jump right...
Yes, you're a very important part of the stream too.
Absolutely. With that, we'll jump straight back into our adventure, since there is a lot to get through in Angels First. Last time, our motley crew of investigators, who are the kind of people that desperate people will turn to help them when the police and the usual avenues of investigation can't help them solve a problem, had gathered together to try and help out a young woman whose father had gone missing. He'd last been seen driving a cab, or his cab had been found in an area just close to Venice Beach, and he had seemingly vanished into thin air. The three of you went exploring a little bit. You had a check around at the local taxi cab company. You did a little bit of research in a library, and eventually you found reference to a strange church, an organization called the Church of the Angelic Ones, the Society of the Angelic Ones. And the three of you were able to determine that it had some mysterious links to people who had gone missing around the Los Angeles area over the past several years. In particular, Dr. Smythe, you were able to find links from Wilma Cartwright, the church's mysterious owner, to some missing persons cases that went back even further. While you lingered in the library trying to do a little more research into the church, Mandy and Ethel went towards the church itself. Mandy tried to sneak in through the back door and immediately stumbled into somebody after fumbling a stealth check. Well done there, Mandy, by the way. Any advice you'd like to give aspiring stealthers?
Wasn't a fumble, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was a fumble. I'm pretty sure that's what... Oh, it was a pushed roll. It was a failed push roll. Failed push roll.
Right.
Okay, well...
Don't push stealth rolls. Unless you're ready for the consequences, which I am.
Terrible idea. Whereas Ethel went inside and actually had a proper listen and a little bit of a conversation with some of the other members of the church. So,
Don't like it? Not one bit.
not at all. It's very focused on
Hate
weird stuff. In fact, can you just make a retroactive occult roll for me, Ethel? I'd just like to very quickly get you.
Certainly give that a whirl.
Fantastic.
Not sure how it's gonna go.
Okay, so it's just a general dislike. You have not picked up on any specific themes that are giving you the heebie-jeebies. It's just in general not a good vibe. So
Not a good time.
the three of you are separated when we pick back up the scenario. Dr. Smythe, you were walking along the beachfront in the dark. Mandy, you had just tried to get in through the back door and had crashed into the back door of the Church of the Society of the Angelic Ones, and you had crashed into a young woman. And Ethel, you were sort of wrapping up the event itself. So we're going to jump back in to start with Mandy.
Fuck.
When you crash into somebody, you've been sneaking around, you haven't just been caught red-handed, you've been caught red-faced, and the equipment you were going to use to try and pick the lock is still practically in your hands. What is your immediate reaction? How are you going to get out of this the best way that you can? What's your plan here?
Locksmith.
So the door opens, you see the terrified face of this young woman, and you say, I'm a locksmith. That's what you're going to go with. Just confirming, not saying it's a bad idea.
Yep. In the absence of better ideas, yep, that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, so I'll describe this woman once more. She is a young woman. She is very, very pretty, and she looks quite at home here. She is wearing some kind of sort of flowing robe-like garment. It seems very in keeping with the kind of religious outfit that people who live in a church or who spend a lot of time in this kind of church might wear. She looks shocked to see you, but you haven't got a very detailed sense of what she's thinking. You just react on instinct. Can I get you to make a fast talk check?
Oh boy, that's the one skill I'm kind of good at.
All right. You just stand up and you go, locksmith, start throwing your hands in the air. The woman takes a step back for a moment, looks you up and down. You can see a slight frown come over her face. She's clearly thinking. Her eyes dart from behind you to the street, to you, to the corridor around. And then after a few moments, she licks her lips and she says, No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just passing by, just passing. And she turns and she goes to leave rather quickly.
Everything okay, miss?
She turns away, stops as you talk to her. Can I get you to make a psychology check?
Oh, that's the one skill I'm kind of good at.
Oh, fantastic. So there are two skills you're almost kind of good at.
And yet.
17 points away.
17 points.
You could luck that down. She looks... You're not quite sure whether she's just in a rush or what's going on. There's a possibility that she might be distressed. This is not necessarily a critical roll, but it's going to give you some information. If you'd like, you can try and luck it down, or you can push it. You just need a second to look at her to figure out what's going on, and you figure that if you could reach out and just grab her arm for a second,
Yeah.
which she might take badly.
Man, he's not that bold. I'll luck it. Why not? Luck's there to be spent. I'm going to spend it.
Okay, fantastic. So with 17 points of luck down, you reach out and you sort of manage to catch her eye. There's an earnestness to your voice. It's that baby-faced complexion. And you can see her eyes soften for a moment. When she saw your face, you think you saw for a second relief. she was ecstatic to see somebody, to have that door open, and she was looking towards the road with what you could only describe as a sense of longing. As soon as you said, I'm a locksmith, I'm meant to be here, she started to look scared, and she started to try and get away. Just as you were trying to diminish why you were hanging around by the door, she seems to be doing exactly the same thing. You ask, "Are you all right?" And she turns, nods. "Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Just stretching my legs for a moment. I'll just head."
Hey. Well, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Do you want to be here?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. You said you were a locksmith. Did my mother hire you?
No, that was a lie. I'm trying to sneak in the back and see what's going on here, and I think you want to get out just as much as I want to get in.
Her face freezes, and the two of you lock eyes for a moment. I'm going to ask for one more roll before we jump away from you for a second. I'm going to ask for a charm roll.
Oh, 7 points. All yours.
Oh, mine? Okay, I'm getting so much luck today. Great way to start the session. All right, fantastic. And you see her eyes fix against yours for a second, and there's a bridge of trust that forms for a moment. We'll jump across quickly now to Dr. Smythe. You had a vague idea, kind of, that these two were heading towards the home of the taxi driver's last passenger, and you by now know a little bit about the Society of the Angelic Ones. So we're going to say that you are heading in general towards the church, and you will be meeting them shortly. That said, you've had a little bit of time to wander along the beach and get a sense for the town, the city, in the night. Do you think Dr. Smythe is a very observant person? Are they always checking everything that's around them, or are they very focused? Do they spot something that they want to look at and it takes up all of their attention?
Given mechanically, spot hidden's not a great one for me. I'd say the latter, but also I think as a doctor and a doctor with interests in some strange places, being blinkered to everything but the project in front of you makes a lot of sense for Dr. Smythe. So I think they are, he is absolutely, if he's lost in thought, he might be looking at things, but he's not seeing them.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then, because Dr. Smythe is about to figure out that they are being followed. And they might figure it out pretty early, before things get pretty serious, or they might figure it out right as the situation starts to deteriorate. Could I please get you to make a spot hidden check? And for your wonderful honesty in describing the limitations of your character, I will apply a penalty die.
Very good. I don't think it's going to matter. Oh, 96, which I believe is a fumble if it's under 50.
96 under 50. Yes, I believe that is so. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Or is it 98? I always forget whether that's a home rule or not. Let's go with a fumble anyway. And we're going to say that you're so focused on the various things that are...
Walk off a pier into the water.
Help! I can't swim. You're so focused on what you've been reading about, what you've been studying, that you actually take a wrong turn and you double back, which means that you are going to crash right into the person that is following you without any chance to be able to, dive away or escape. So you turn around a sharp corner, a little alleyway, and then you go, wait a minute, wasn't meant to go there. You turn around, you step back, heading back out to the shoreline, and suddenly you see a car skid up right next to you. It is a pretty well-made car. The lights are on, and you can see this big hulking figure who is hunched over the steering wheel. As soon as the car skids to a halt, this figure starts to get out. Now, they're seeing you, they're close to you. I'm not going to give you a chance to avoid the car sort of interacting with you, but what you do at this point is up to you. It's pretty clear that whoever is in this car is looking for you and has stopped to try and engage with you in some way. What's your plan?
Just so the car is blocking off the alleyway, or it's just at
No.
the end
You
of
could could try and duck away. This is sort of, you came out of the alleyway and you were looking back and up and down a street, and in the sort of dark, twilight, this car skids up and someone starts to get out.
It's evening, yeah?
Yes. It by now
Is
the sun
there-
is totally set.
Is there a like lamp post, like something emitting a small amount of light nearby?
Sure. Yep, there would be. If this is going to be a major, do you need a ton of light, or are you trying to just step behind
No.
it? Or
I want to put myself. I want to put the major part of the light between me and this person, and I want to stand in the penumbra
right.
so that they have to like look through the light to see me, and I'm not like I'm shadowed.
Yep.
What an excellent word.
Penumbra.
My favorite part about
Penumbra
playing
and umbra.
with
or
art
something. Yeah,
is
they're
they
good
teach
words.
me new words.
I do. Okay.
Recalcitrant.
That's
That's a great one that you taught me.
It's so much
We are
fun.
playing the Thesaurus for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition.
Recalcitrant and precocious, just fun words generally. Anyway, yeah, so I just like to put that between me and them, for the purposes of, reasons.
Perfect. No, that's totally
And then
fine.
I will sort of like, yeah, I'm not gonna look rushed. I'm just gonna walk and then kind of wait for them to come over and speak or do whatever it is they plan to do.
All right. Well,
I do have a scalpel in my pocket.
hand gathering around it. The big figure gets out of the car, and you can immediately see that they're tall. They look pretty tough, and they're wearing that kind of put-together suit that doesn't quite fit them, isn't quite suitable. Your mind immediately goes to some kind of gangster. And this person raises their hands in a gesture of peace. But you can't help but notice when they do that their jacket falls open for a second and you can see a shoulder holster. It's very clear that they have a gun. But the person says, "Hey, I'm not here for any kind of confrontation. I know things are looking scary, but I'm just here to talk." And he starts to walk straight towards you, crossing the penumbra on the other side of the pool of light, and then getting pretty uncomfortably close. He's going to be within your sort of personal space pretty quickly.
No. I will, as he's sort of walking over, I'll say, "If you only want to talk, you can do that from a few paces back."
Are you actively trying to sort of scare this person back? Because so it's
Not
an
yet.
okay, in which case, if you're not trying to directly intimidate them, you can see that this person has an attitude of like, I'm the tough one, people listen to me.
Okay.
So they're going to just completely ignore you and keep
Okay.
moving forward.
Very
They
good.
dismiss what you were saying.
Very good. In that case, I'm going to take half a step forward so that like I am just moving into the light, so it's that weird shadowed thing.
Mhm.
And as I've mentioned before, Smythe is very thin, so like I don't know if you've ever seen someone lit angularly, but it starts to look real fucking ghoulish at a
Yep.
certain point. Again, I don't think it's intentional. It's just the way Smythe exists in the world. And he's going to just this is how I plan to intimidate this person. I'm going to pull out the scalpel.
Oh.
I'm going to lick it,
Oh my god.
point sharp bit. So I'm going to happily take some damage if I need to for this, and I'm going to go, "I don't think you want to play doctors today, friend."
Fantastic. Make an intimidate check, and because of the theater that you've done with the positioning of the light and, drawing a weapon as well, you can make an intimidate check. So you can use a bonus die.
Yay.
Oh, not that you need
That's a
it.
success.
I feel like Smythe is very practiced at looking
That's an extreme success.
An extreme success.
That's a 009 over versus 50, so that's an extreme success with intimidate. I'm so pleased.
So this tough thug figure takes a few steps forward, crosses into the light, sees you step forward at them, and then kind of, Jesus, steps back a little bit and ends up on the other side, raises their hands higher, less of a gesture of "I'm not armed" and more of a gesture of "don't hurt me" all of a sudden, and says, "No, I'm okay, I'll step back. All right, listen, I'm only here for a second, okay? I shouldn't be here. I'm just delivering a message, okay? That's it. And it's not coming from anyone, it's just coming from me. I know the three of you by reputation, okay? The three of you, you helped someone close to me a while back, and we don't need to go into it more than that, but I feel like I owe you. So I'm just saying that people have noticed that you're digging around, and whatever's happening here with that taxi driver, with that church, it's wrong, deeply wrong, and you're in real danger this time. You wanna get as far from this as you can, and looks back and forth, and that's all I gotta say. But you gotta keep back, all right? That's all I can do. I can just warn you, all right? You can see that he looks, at least, relatively earnest.
What's your name?
I'm Harris, okay? But don't go sharing that around, all right? I didn't speak to you, if anybody asks, okay? I don't want to end up getting whacked.
All right, then. Thank you for the warning.
Okay.
Maybe don't sneak up on people next time.
Yeah, well, I gotta go sneaking around at this point because I feel like people are gonna be sneaking up on me, and they will be on you too, unless you put this all to bed. I think you just gotta accept that the taxi driver is probably gone, and leave it at that. Okay?
If I were to accept that everyone who is gone was, I wouldn't be a very good doctor, now would I?
Look, you're... Doctor, in all honesty, you're really creepy, and you do whatever you gotta do. I'm done. I did what I need to do. I repaid a debt. Turns around, heads back to the car, takes one last look at you, and unless you say anything else, will shut the door and spin away.
I don't... actually...
You have plenty of time for a parting word.
No, I think I don't have anything, so I will watch him go and wipe off the scalpel on my sleeve and put it back in its little case and put it away.
Clearly nervous, the car peels away erratically and speeds off into the dark. You're able to turn and continue on your path.
Did I get the impression that Harris was the surname?
You got the impression that it was like a nickname, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that... Because they said it was someone we'd worked with before. Did that twig anything for me?
You could make... why don't you make for me an education roll? This is going to be your no skill, which is sort of, to do with your background. But the three of you have helped many people over the years. This could effectively just be one of many, associates. The name itself doesn't ring anything, but you remember a couple of cases a while back where you helped people in a sort of gangster milieu, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you're able to pull out a couple of names, and you think it's probably one of these people. You would be owed. You'd be owed a few, considering that you are, like I said at the beginning of the session, the kind of person that desperate people go to. This is probably someone trying to repay you in kind.
So... someone most likely, based on everything that I got from that, genuinely earnestly going, you do not want to get involved.
Yes, but of course, as a investigator of the mythos, you might not be able to help yourself.
Well, I think it's less that right now, and Smythe, as they sort of, as he puts everything away, and then will take like a half step, back out of the light again, because he's not a huge fan of light generally. Hurts his eyes. Will kind of twig, like, oh yeah, that's right, the others were planning to go near the church. That may be not good. I should
Too late.
Yeah. And then I think that I should hurry, and then we'll actually start to actively make a beeline for that location as opposed to just meander there.
Okay, fantastic. So let's jump across to Ethel. You have just sat through a pretty long sermon, and it was full of stuff that you object to. You've made that pretty clear. So it's been clear that Ethel is a tough woman, and she doesn't like it when people mess around with the word of God. As this sermon comes to a close, like most churches do, everybody steps aside for tea and biscuits in a small kind of community room off to the side. Now, it's still in this very strange building, so you feel a bit weird stepping aside for bickies when the architecture all around you is suggesting all of this kind of bizarre energy. And like I mentioned...
And this gouty monstrosity.
Yeah, exactly. And as I mentioned, the woman who was giving the sermon, Wilma Cartwright, mentions that there are people can come and they are able to speak with an angel if they should choose to. Nobody seems to take her up on that. At this point, everyone comes through and just begins to discuss details of the sermon. How angry is Ethel really?
Quietly, she's not necessarily a hothead. She's
Right.
She's a fixer.
Okay.
So she's making plans.
That-
She's ruminating. She's not gonna like storm up to somebody and be like, this is not okay. She'll take tea. She'll take a deep breath, and remember the teachings of the Lord to be patient, and she's gonna look around for her Mandy, because Mandy was supposed to be inside at this point.
Yep.
And just see if she can spot him at some point at all. Maybe.
Why don't you make a spot hidden check just for general observance? Okay.
You have tea, have a bicky, and just peering around. In the way that somebody who is new to a venue, new to a community would, just kind of on her own, looking around. If somebody approaches her, she'll talk to them, but it's just ease it into it.
At this stage, Mandy is nowhere to be seen. A couple of people nod politely at you, but with your success on a spot hidden check, you can confirm no sign of Mandy. That said, over in the corner, you do spot... at one point, Wilma sort of steps into the room briefly and begins to talk to another woman. You feel an instant kinship with this woman because she looks like somebody who's been through a very similar path to you. She's concealing muscle on her, like quite a lot, and has that kind of like tough attitude of somebody who's been around the block a few times. And she is also wearing not full robes as if she was a member of the clergy of whatever this, church, however this church sees it, but she's clearly a very, very dedicated parishioner. Wilma steps towards her a little bit, and this is something that you notice with your success in your spot hidden, talks to her, and the two of them look around the room, and they point at a couple of people, 1, 2, and then 3, you. And Wilma whispers something to this woman, who nods, and when Wilma turns around, begins to socialize with some of the other people in the room, this large woman trots across the room towards you, plasters a big smile on her face, and says, "Hi, I'm Louise. I'm so sorry, we haven't met yet." And she will hold out her hand to shake yours.
I'll shake her hand, maybe squeeze a little too tightly.
Ooh.
Bit too firm.
Do you want to
deliberately firm grip?
Do you want to make an intimidate check? I really quite like this, actually.
Why not? I don't think I'm that intimidating, but I'm moderately intimidating.
Huh?
No, I'm not intimidating.
Okay, you hold out your hand to squeeze, and you sort of thought of it too late, so you don't quite get the space on it.
I get it as she's like pulling away, and it's just that awkward kind of, I'm just holding your hand.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of she looks a little strangely at you, pulls back. And then says, I just noticed that this is your first time coming, and I really wanted to make sure that you had a good time. I try to speak to everybody who comes for the first time. Please tell me what did you think of the message?
Well, Louise, my name's Ethel, by the way. I did notice that you did point at a couple of people in the room. Are they all new? Are we all new? Or is there another reason that you might have been singling us out?
Oh, yes. Well, can you make for me a charm check? You've pointed out something that she wasn't necessarily keen to have revealed, and it might put her off a bit. Oh, not very charming. She keeps the smile plastered on her face. You can see a slight hardness in her eyes. And she says, oh, yeah, just people we wanted to have a bit of a conversation with, some new or some we think are in need of guidance.
How did you hear about us?
Exactly. I'm new.
Would you consider yourself to be in a crisis of faith, Ethel? Is that why you've come here?
Absolutely not. No. I just got spending some time in the neighborhood and always looking for places to worship.
Right.
In the area.
Do you think that maybe an angel brought you here today?
Ooh, well, angels don't bring us anywhere, do they? It's the good Lord Jesus who does that.
Right.
An interesting sermon, though I'm not entirely sure about all of this angel talk, if I'm being entirely honest with you.
Well, I hope that you'll come to see how positive our church can be in time, but it seems
Which angel in particular? I mean, there are several of them, and most of them are named in the good book. Which angel in particular? I don't believe that I caught a name.
She's watching you at this point. Can you make an occult check for me? This is effectively she's going to joust with
You're
you.
asking for all the stuff that I just.
I know, but I think that so.
No.
She
Did
starts.
the sermon mention any angels' names?
So the sermon went through and it sort of talked about angels in a vague sense. It didn't actually mention, we were met by Gabriel. We spoke to, this person here, this person here. But at this, as soon as you start to challenge Louise on this, she starts to throw out a lot of biblical language. She talks about seraphims. She starts to mention a lot of the words that you have heard, and unfortunately,
yes, but no specifics.
Exactly, and unfortunately, Ethel, with a 5 occult, I think that you've heard the word of God and have been listening and loving it less so than studying, all of the biblical canon over the years.
I found Jesus in person. So
She just likes the vibe of the thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's the vibe of the thing.
So she's able to sort of bustle you with a couple of, fancy-sounding words, and then unless you ask her anything else, she's going to say, "Well, I must continue about, speak to some other members of the flock, and turn to leave." You get the slight sense that she was probing for something with you, maybe hoping that you were about to say, "Yes, I'd like to join the church" or something, and having not received it, she's lost interest.
That's fair. I think Ethel, which says, Ethel's gonna smile at her, raise her tea and business, and say, "Well, as long as the good Lord is involved, I'm happy to be open-minded, and it's a really interesting place you got here. No doubt I'll be back."
Well, we have sermons every morning and every evening, and I hope I'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Right, quite.
She steps away. We'll leave you there for a moment, and we'll jump back.
I might.
Oh, yes,
Since
please.
I didn't see Mandy, I might kind of just, in the way that you do when you're getting acquainted with a place, just kind of meander around, perhaps look for a back way to somewhere.
Perfect. In the grand tradition of me asking you for things you might not necessarily have, Ethel, can I please get a stealth check from you?
Oh, I actually kind of do.
Okay.
Have that,
all right.
so.
Fantastic. So you start to wander through this side kind of community hall. You wander back out into the main, very traditional church area, and you're looking for doors that lead off to different points. Eventually, you manage to spot a couple of doors, one in the community hall, one sort of to the side of the main church area, that lead back into corridors and sort of the living areas behind. If you would like, you can, with this success, you can slip inside one undetected.
Let's go.
Okay, fantastic. So with that, you slip in, and you are going to disappear into the corridors. Dr. Smythe, you will be arriving shortly at the scene, but before we dive into that, Mandy, we're going to go back to you.
Oh no.
You succeeded on your charm check. And you can
It's true.
And it is, and you can immediately see this woman look towards you, and her eyes fix. She says, "You're in danger if you're here, sneaking in. I don't know what you're doing, but you're digging around in a dangerous place. I don't want to be here, but I don't think you're going to be able to help me."
That's what I do. All right, danger's what I do. So, just tell me what's going on. You're being kept here against your will. You don't want to be here anymore.
She looks down, and you can she's sort of considering the questions that you ask very deeply. Maybe she hasn't sort of posed them to herself in as many words before. But as you finish speaking, she nods a few times and she says, No, I don't want to be here. I want to leave, but I can't leave.
I think you can.
Because
I'm here. Because I'm here to help.
No, they'd find me. They'd track me down, and if you help me, they'd just get you. Just like, it doesn't matter. I think I have to go. All right. You should get away. The sermon's finished. They'll be bringing in people to speak to me.
Hey, listen. What's your name?
My name, I'm Elise Cartwright.
Elise, listen. You want me to leave, but I'm not gonna leave. Nothing you say is gonna make me leave, right? I'm coming in. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna see what happens. I get the impression you want what's best for me. So if that's the case, you better tell me where I should go, what I should look at. Because nothing you say is gonna make me leave. But whatever you say could keep me safe, but I'm in here looking around, all right?
You've already succeeded 2 interpersonal checks with this woman.
It's true.
She is listening to you. She thinks for a second, and then she says, upstairs, top floor, my mother's rooms. There's a safe in there. You should be able to find everything you need if you can get in.
All right. Thank you very much, Elise. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Elise darts away, and you're able to make your way deeper into the church. Are you planning to basically start exploring the place?
I'm going straight for this safe.
Okay.
That's where the MacGuffin is.
Fantastic. Now, in the interest of rallying the party together,
yes, please do.
We're going to massage the timing of things a little bit. It took you a while to be able to pick the locks and get inside the back door. Ethel, you've just slipped in, and Dr. Smythe, you got out of the library and you've been rushing along. So you're going to arrive at the back of the church and do a circuit pretty quickly. And I would like, can I get, I think, both Mandy and Dr. Smythe, since you have a chance of crossing over, being able to spot each other before you both vanish off, to make a spot hidden check.
Both of us?
Yes, please. Oh, failure on a spot hidden from Dr. Smythe, and
like
failure.
Ships in the night.
Okay, that's totally fine. So you take one last glance out the door. The dice are cruel this evening. You take one last glance out the door, looking for Smythe. You know, is he going to be in? No, gotta go. And you turn back and step in. Seconds before Dr. Smythe, you arrive on like the street behind, doing your reconnaissance. Mandy and Ethel, the two of you will crash into each other momentarily inside the facility. But Dr. Smythe, I'd be interested to hear what your approach would be outside the church.
Is the front open and like inviting people in, or is it all closed off because of the sermon?
The doors were closed for a little bit once the sermon started, but now they have opened again. They are less inviting people in and more letting people out. You know, the evening is drawing to a close, and you can see a couple of people who look like they live at the church, saying goodbye to folks. But you might be able to talk your way in briefly.
I will kind of sort of stand outside watching the people exit to see if I see either Ethel or Mandy exit the building. Yeah, and I will stand more in the light of the open doorway so that, you know, they would be able to see me as well, meaning potentially if they were to look out an upstairs window, they might see that Smythe is standing in front of the church. But currently, yeah, it's just kind of standing and looking and waiting, and should he not see, his companions exit, perhaps there will be action, but for now it is just observation.
So, by definition, if you're trying to be seen by Mandy and Ethel, you're not hiding.
No.
In which case, lingering outside the church before we jump back to Mandy and Ethel on their stealth mission, you see a very large, broad-shouldered woman, Louise, who Ethel was speaking to earlier, clock you and head down and walk forward and nod politely and say, "Hello, I noticed you looking curiously towards the church. Are you interested in what we do here?"
Yes, I have an academic interest in different religions. And,
Oh.
This motif is new to me. I am curious about the nature of what it is you preach here.
Well, we are the Society of the Angelic Ones, and we worship the angels of the Lord, and we believe that they will guide us and protect us, and through the power of angels, we will be freed. We involve a lot of varied religious beliefs in our worship of angels. I'm glad you like the motifs, though. This was designed by a rather famous architect, actually. I'm very proud to have our church set up here.
Which architect would that be?
Oh, man named Mr. Donovan.
I see.
Now, Dr. Smythe, that name is going to immediately ring a bell in your head. Could I ask you to either read out or share into the chat your significant person?
Yeah, which is good because I'd forgotten. Gil Donovan, an old friend with a fascination for the occult. One day he had some kind of mental break. You've hardly heard from him since. You wonder what horrors he saw. You wish there was a way you could help him.
Gil Donovan is his name, and Gil Donovan was an architect. He had a mental break a couple of years ago, and you haven't really been able to get in contact with him since. This is the first time you have heard his name brought up. It seems that he was the person who designed this, if I can quote you, Alex, Gaudi monstrosity. Was that the terminology? I might... do you think this is shocking for Smythe? Is there any chance that he might give something away?
Because that wasn't the full name, it was just the last name Donovan. I think there's maybe like a slight raise of the eyebrow as like I wonder if that's Gil, knowing that that he was an architect and probably it's the thing of like putting a couple of things together in your head, but also going, I'm not certain, so I'm not necessarily shocked, more than just like, I wonder.
Right.
Perhaps, yes. So that if they are trying to read me, that's probably what they would get.
At this point, it doesn't seem like they're suspicious. So they kind of turn aside and they start giving you the spiel. They're saying, well, we do sermons every morning and every evening. If you come back tomorrow, and we actually do we put our money where our mouth is. After each sermon, we give the offer for any of the congregation to step forward and to come and to meet an angel in person.
That's an awful lot of eyeballs, is it not?
Can I get you to make an occult check at this point? You might have the chops to be able to spar with...
Hard success.
Immediately, very enthusiastically, Louise kind of leans in and, hearing somebody who has, understanding of biblical angels and all kinds of different occult perspectives, starts to talk to you about how the idea of an angel is different to what it might be interpreted within the Bible, and it means more sort of like a powerful person, and goes into this whole detailed line. You've read a little bit about the church. You know this is heading towards kind of a butchered version of theosophy, but you can nod and smile and go along. This seems to endear you to Louise quite a lot.
Oh, that's good.
Are you going to try and push this anywhere, or are you just making conversation, hoping that Mandy and Ethel are going to materialize?
At the moment, I am going to continue the conversation because I am actually enjoying myself, finding someone to spar with. The idea of like, oh, so you're, not so much seraphim as Nephilim. Is that sort of the angle we're taking here? The combination of humanity and angelic together combined. I played far too much Diablo, so we'll sort of engage Mechanically, perhaps, if if this is a conversation that's taking some important people from the church out of the church, then there's less people wandering around in the church to catch these two. Smythe does not know that, but Smythe is just having a great time enjoying a conversation with someone that borderline absolutely the stuff they're talking about, if anyone was listening, is like, that's weird.
Yep.
But they're having a great time.
Nope, that's perfect. You're playing distraction, and I will absolutely factor that in. As Mandy and Ethel, the two of you now creeping through the hallways, not sure what you're going to encounter. Elise has darted away from you, Mandy, taking a different route, and the two of you steer along, and suddenly you both come around a corner, expect that you're going to be caught, and crash into each other.
Mandy,
Mandy, they're keeping someone here. Elise, I think she said her mother runs the place. She said to look in the safe upstairs, so I'm gonna go look in the safe upstairs.
Oh, I'm gonna come with you. That sermon was not good, and I think they're looking for people to, I don't know, do something very not good too.
Why? What did they want?
I don't know. They were scoping me about joining the church after I've been here once, and I said, "Well, that's not, that's not the real Jesus. I didn't hear a word about our Lord God. I did not know." So I got away, but I don't think this is a good place. The safe. She said the safe. Let's go.
All right, let's go to the safe.
Let's go.
The two of you...
Dave, we go to... I should call you Dave. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'll take it as a compliment.
I'm going to live that down. Jim, we go to the safe.
All right, fantastic. So the two of you begin to creep slowly through the hallways of this place. It is, for all of the kind of weird architectural design, it is a really, really nice building. And as you stroll through, you pass a variety of rooms. You can see that downstairs it looks like it's mostly taken up to being a church space, but also some kind of like living area, effectively. You can see what would amount to dormitories. You see a couple of storerooms. You eventually begin to make your way upstairs. As you begin to search through, you know you're heading in the loose direction of upstairs, but do either of you happen to have any navigate skill?
I do not think so.
No? Okay.
25.
25? You've got
25
25.
base?
That's not bad.
25 base.
No, 10's base.
Well, then I've got some navigate skill, keeper.
Also, like, this is probably a question for Alex, but was Ethel in prison for, like, GBH or breaking and entering? Or both?
Oh, probably assault.
Fantastic.
She's a fixer.
Okay, so if you've got a little bit of navigate, I'd like you to make a navigate check for me, Mandy. Okay.
Not a fumble.
Not a fumble. You are far too occupied sneaking through this place to notice anything weird and, any areas of the building that might be a little too empty and could potentially hold secret rooms, unfortunately.
I've heard there's a safe. I'm going to find that safe.
You're going to find the safe.
Yep.
The two of you creep upstairs, and eventually you will come up to a large second floor. This seems much more of a private sanctum. There's no guards or anything like that, but once you get up here, the nature of the furniture changes. It becomes a lot cleaner, a lot more expensive. To the right-hand side of the landing, once you come up, you can see a hallway that heads down towards, it's some kind of large circular chamber. You can tell by the build of the structure of the building. Although what's happening inside, you're not sure. You can faintly hear soft mumbles of conversation. To the left, you can see a couple of small office rooms, and one of them at the end of the hallway looks exactly like the kind of place that somebody might put in a master office or a leading area. So you would guess to your left is your destination.
Let's go to left.
All right, you ignore the sound and you begin to move. Now you are creeping through a the center of everything. I would like you both to make a stealth check.
Oh.
But outside, Dr. Smythe, your conversation is so engrossing that Louise has started going, hey, Frank, John, come down here. I mean, there's this fantastic gentleman who has some really interesting ideas, and there's a small group of you all sitting around nodding, and you just need a couple of berets and cigarettes, and you'll be a real proper little philosophy group. So, stealth rolls from the both of you, and take a bonus die because Dr. Smythe is distracting everybody.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Okay, both of you needed it.
Yay!
Hey!
03. I don't know if I've got two number both, but that sounds pretty good. 03. My stealth is 50. A fifth of 50 is, as we all know, 10. So yeah, that's an extreme.
Mine's a hard.
Okay, you are both totally fine. You creep
Nice.
silently along the hallway towards this back room. I just want to ask quickly, the two of you, you're very different builds. Ethel, you're kind of a giant.
Big.
Mandy, you're quite, I don't want to say childish, but you're quite childish. Can you give me a sense of
Boyish.
your stealth styles? Ethel, is there like a panther-esque movement to you?
Eerily quiet. Like in that way that kind of big dangerous people can move silently. Ethel's like that. Like there's nothing about her that suggests she would be able to move quietly. Like she wears clothing that is many layered and buttoned up, and costume jewelry, and has a big handbag, but no sound.
No sound. Fantastic.
It's an eerie kind of quiet. It's unsettling.
As you drift along, somehow managing to not make any noise. What about you, Mandy?
Mandy's stealth style is like being extremely hyper aware of every single movement. Like it's a high energy stealth. It's like, I'm gonna look at the floor. That's safe. I'm gonna put my foot there, toe first, bring it down. Did that make any noise? No. Look around. Nothing has changed. Look at the next step. Like everything is high energy, high attention.
You're doing like the
Very
proper
tense.
tiptoeing.
Yeah. Tiptoe style.
Fantastic. So you creep along to the door, and you're able to test it very slightly, and it swings open. There is a lovely office here. The best example I can give of this, and it's a very niche Melbourne reference, Australia Melbourne reference, which is the perfect things why you come to the stream. There is a bar in Australia called Father's Office, a place that is like styled after.
Yeah.
This would be grandmother's office.
Yes.
Is the idea. So it is like done up to be very, very homely. There's some chairs in front of a desk and with little tables by the side that are covered in doilies. There's like very inoffensive pictures around the whole place. There is a huge oak desk. There's a bookcase, and there is a large picture on the wall, Ethel, you will note, that contains the only overtly Christian religious imagery that you've seen so far. It is a picture of what appears to be Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. So,
Well, finally some good news.
you both step inside and look around the room. You don't see a safe immediately. What would the two of you like to do?
I'm going to be a lookout, and kind of jerk my head towards the rest of the room. You have a look around. I'm gonna post up by the door, and if anyone comes in, I'm gonna clock them.
Good. I'm going to look at my character sheet and see that I have no locksmith skill, and then immediately begin to wonder how I'm going to open this safe. And then go open the safe.
Okay, fantastic. First of all...
I actually have a locksmith skill, so once you find it, we can switch places.
Brilliant. So, Ethel, you're watching the door. So immediately, if someone comes really close, you're going to know. But since you are posting up, I'll let you also make either a spot hidden or a listen check to try and sort of get some additional information for what's going on around. Mandy, you're searching this place. What method would you like to use? Are you going through books? Are you looking under desks? Are you...
It's a fumble. It's a fumble. That's a fumble. We're fumbling.
I
Oh,
think
no.
technically you have 50,
Oh.
so it's not
Yeah,
a
you're-
fumble.
Yeah, it's not a fumble because it's yeah. Well, look, it sucks.
This
That's true.
This is cursed. I think we had somebody in chat that said, "Oh, it's not a Call of Cthulhu session unless everybody fumbles," and it's happened. It's come true. You've
Close,
cursed us,
close.
damn it.
Yep.
Um,
Feeling good, feeling fine.
Or it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
exactly. It's definitely entertaining. Mandy.
I'm just hoping that I've in my course as a private investigator, I've had to find some safes, so I know all the common places where you put a safe. Surely,
Sure.
I'm
It
trying
makes
to
sense.
convince you
So
to make let me make an education roll to find the
You-
safe rather than spot hidden.
you can make a hard education check.
It's better than my spot hidden.
Or you can make a spot hidden check. Ethel, at the door, you are just peeking out and waiting. You did make a stealth check and not a spot hidden or listen check, I've just noticed. And your stealth
Oh,
is
did
at
I?
50.
I hit the wrong one?
So do you have spot
there we
hidden
go.
above 50?
Also a fail.
Okay, that's fine. I was just checking
Never
that
mind.
you hadn't fumbled and we didn't know just because
They
yeah,
are
no.
next to each other.
You're perfect.
Yep.
Cool. Great. Mandy,
Still sucks.
hit me with that education check.
Alrighty. No.
High five, team.
We are professionals.
Okay, you start heading through this safe as quickly as you can, but you sort of heading through this room looking for the safe as quickly as you can. You check the books, you check under the desk, nothing. You can hear Ethel kind of whispering and you hurry up, but there is nothing that you can see. You could push this roll. Ethel, you could turn around and try and help, but at this stage you are getting time sensitive.
I'm gonna turn around and help.
Okay, you spin around and
Good
help.
idea.
Mandy, so here's the deal. Ethel, if you spin around and help, you can provide a bonus die to this check.
Yep.
Mandy, if you want to make a check, you're going to have to you're going to be pushing the roll, and the penalty is you take so long in here. You can hear distantly that murmur of conversation in the room at the other end of the hallway is wrapping up, and you're pretty sure people are about to come out.
Bonus die. I'm not seeing anything anyway.
Say it again. So I'm going to push it with a bonus die, or
If you push it, it will be pushed with a bonus die. That's right,
because Ethel's helping.
because Ethel is helping.
35.
You could also, or Ethel, you could make the check because you have a higher spot hidden, and you could do it with a bonus die for Mandy's assistance. Either of you can make the roll, but the idea here is that you're pushing it as a collective.
I
Okay.
feel like the push with a bonus die and you're 70 is
No,
probably.
but
But that's a hard success,
so
so it's actually a
hard
35.
success.
So do you want to have a spot hidden?
Actually,
And that's still a push. But do you
Yeah.
want to have a spot hidden with a bonus
I'll
die?
have a spot hidden.
It's still a push.
I should
but,
not have had a spot hidden.
Oh,
but
you
with
still got a bonus die?
because we're helping. We're helping each other here.
Oh, that's
Hey,
58.
I'm
Oh.
It's a pushed roll. So
Oh,
I
you can't luck it. You
No,
cannot
luck.
luck
So-
a pushed roll.
Can't like a pushed roll, so
Fantastic. So
We gave it a red hot go. We tried our
You
best.
absolutely
That's what
did.
we
we
should
tried
take
so
away.
many different
you
things.
scan this room top to bottom. You are pulling out books. You are checking under the desk. You are just not looking in the one place where this safe is, and it's insane. You get to the point where you're like, okay, let's move the whole desk. Let's check under the doilies. And you're rushing.
I think I know where it is.
What's your guess?
It's behind the fucking painting, isn't
Well
it?
done,
yeah,
Dr. Smythe. But unfortunately,
You're not here.
No.
unfortunately, neither of our vet investigators think to check behind the painting,
No, not.
as the watchful eyes of Jesus doing the Sermon on the Mount stare down at them. You will take too long, and you hear the door at the end of the hallway open. And a group of people come out, and you can hear, Ethel, the sound of Wilma Cartwright talking, and you're pretty sure you're in her office.
Shit.
We'll cut away for a second, and we'll go back to Dr. Smythe. At this point, everybody has left the building. The only people who are left are the members of the congregation who are talking to you, and eventually it's getting late, they need to sort of head back in. But Louise will say, listen, I really think you would love to join us for a sermon. I would love to introduce you to an angel in person. Well, why don't you come by tomorrow? We can arrange a special meeting. It'll be wonderful.
All right, that sounds delightful.
Oh, fantastic. Would you like to come in the morning or the evening?
I'm not entirely sure of my schedule tomorrow. Would it be too much of a bother if I appeared for one of them and we discuss the meeting then, or do you need to know in advance?
No, that's quite all right. We'd be coming alone,
you.
or could we encourage you to bring any family, friends, colleagues, other scholars?
If I can convince my colleagues to come along with me, most certainly. I imagine they would be quite fascinated to see a real-life angel.
That was a missed opportunity to say, I'll see if I can dig anyone up.
Oh dear.
That's just a given.
Oh, no.
No.
Louise kind of reaches forward, puts her hand on your shoulder, nods very seriously, and says, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, and I will make sure I have a special reception planned.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed our conversation. I hope to discuss more.
She smiles at you, and the procession of people head inside, and they're going to shut the door, and they're going to lock you out unless you would like to take any additional steps.
I am not going to try and get inside. I don't think that's a sensible plan. What I am going to do is start kind of walking away from the front door, but then I'm going to do a loop of the block that this is on, kind of like, ruminating, evening stroll, having a look at the windows and trying to see if I can see the two of these people in any of the windows, and potentially try and get their attention and sort of
Brilliant.
Trying to find.
Did you say chuckle fucks, Alex?
I said fuck ups.
Oh, okay.
I was
That
gonna
was
say
thinking.
I was gonna go with Chocofucks, but I use that for us a lot.
Well, that's
so
what I was thinking. So
yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
No, I just went
that
with
one's
fuck
on
ups.
me. I use that a lot for us.
All
One of
right.
the other words I've learned from you. There you go.
So, jumping in then, can I get you to make a spot hidden check? The desperate need of spot hidden. Oh, only 1 point off. Could I convince you to luck? And let me tell you, this will be a tiered success, so you will get more depending on what layer of success you get.
I mean, I don't particularly feel like giving you 13 points of luck or however much that's going to be, so I'll stick with the one.
Stick
you
with
can
the
have
one?
and I'll have just the base level of. We've already established Smythe is not particularly attentive when he's thinking about things, and he's definitely he's still ruminating about the conversation, because I would hope perhaps and more as an idea role perhaps is going over everything he heard them talk about and starting to sort of piece together some of their ideology from that conversation, depending on how much he was able to get out of it with the occult roll. But that's kind of taking over in the back of his head, so he is trying really hard to look. He's still only gonna get the basics.
We'll jump into that once you get out of this terrible situation. So you walk around and do a couple of loops, and eventually standing back once again in that alleyway behind the church, you will be able to catch familiar silhouettes of a very thin person, small person, and a very giant person kind of hurrying back and forth in a window that has the best view out towards the beach and across the city. You would presume that this is, the most important office, and you would presume that your friends are therefore inside sneaking around. For convenience's sake, at one point, Mandy, as you were walking past the window, you were going to spot the unmistakable silhouette of a terrifying doctor, sort of now standing in the penumbra at the outside of a pool of light, kind of watching down. Excellent waves. For those listening on audio recordings, we have a fantastic signed conversation going along.
Sigh. They do speak dead people, though.
What are you doing, Mandy?
The doctor's outside.
But the doctor's out. Oh my
Giving an update.
Mandy, you continue to sign in exhaustive detail. Dr. Smythe, do you want to...
And Ethel joins in. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
There's honestly, you're pretty far away. There's not much you can get from this kind of distance. But before you're able to really spend much time communicating, as I mentioned, there is a threat. You push this roll, and you're going to hear the sounds of people coming out of the room on the other side of the church, heading to they sort of stop in the middle of the landing and they begin to talk. And you, Ethel, can hear Wilma saying, "Thank you for coming. I must retire. There's some work that I have to do." You know she's about to head into this office.
Can we hide?
You can hide. You glance around.
Because she's out of the other room heading to this room. We are not getting out of here, like, stealthily. Like, there's clearly no way for us to leave without being spotted.
Well, you could... So the landing is definitely blocked, but the two of you are standing in front of a window. Looking at Dr. Smythe. And this thing is like gaudy slopes and kind of weird architecture.
I didn't put myself outside of a window for any other reason.
Look at the window, and I'm gonna open the window and start climbing. I'm gonna like grab Mandy by the shirt collar and just start climbing out and like.
All right.
Go.
Ethel, you...
I don't want to be trapped in here with her, in particular.
Man, if only Dr. Smythe was here, then she'd be trapped in.
Yeah.
You swing the window open, and Ethel, you climb out first. You're at the top of one of those kind of Sydney Opera House style long slopes. And you gingerly put your foot down. It's surprisingly hard. It doesn't buckle under your weight, which is lovely. It's cool. It's nice, but it's also, this building is hard, and if you fall, it's gonna hurt. The two of you manage to get out the window a little bit, and you can see the ground below you. Are you yelling anything, Dr. Smythe? Are you doing anything?
I don't know about yell, because I don't necessarily want to draw attention, but in a, like, I will speak slightly more audibly, hopefully. Whether they hear me or not, I really don't care. But I think Smythe is going to say, "Break a leg. I can certainly fix it."
Oh, okay. Up on the window, can I get...
Guess I'll die.
Guess I'll die. Ethel and Mandy, can I get you two to make a climb check?
Jump climb?
If you want to jump, you can do it.
Really? Seriously? For real? Okay. Sure.
Let's get Mandy's first, just so we have the full situation ahead of us.
I clicked it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll take the first one that went through.
That doesn't matter.
Okay. A real fail from you, Mandy, and unfortunately, Ethel, a real fail from you both. So, here's the deal.
I am tempted to give you 20 points of luck for that.
You guys are standing, you are looking down, and staring at this thing, you say there is no way that I can safely climb down this. There's just not an option. You can push the roll, but the penalty will be falling, and you are going to take some damage. Now, it's probably not going to be lethal. Alex, you have experience of having characters fall out of high windows. It's not always lethal.
No, but it sucks.
But it'll hurt. You could push it with a jump roll if you want to. Alternatively, just go for it. Alternatively, Alex, you are within lucking range.
I'm within lucking range.
Down.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Mandy?
I'm gonna die. I don't know. It's really high up.
It's really high up, but we gotta go for it. I don't think we want to be in that office when she gets there.
Yeah, we could just stay here. We just stay here.
No,
on the
we
roof.
gotta make a choice. We could either hide. We could go back in and hide in the office.
Just stay here on the roof.
Do you want to try and hide up here and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can jump, but I'm good.
I guess.
I'm good. You go. Yo, if you want to go, you go. But I'm good here. I'm good.
You're good.
I can wait here until she's gone, and then I can get back in.
I'm just going to
start from the beginning.
I'm just going to add very quickly that as Mandy is saying this, Ethel, you would be completely justified in thinking you don't know how long this woman is going to be in her office. For all you know, she's going to be there for hours. Mandy is on a small ledge, kind of present. Mandy, that said, you're comfortable here. You can stay on the ledge. You can perch like a gargoyle.
It's part of their job. It's what PIs do. They stake out.
Yeah.
You're a brave man, Mandy, and I'm gonna luck it and climb down.
Okay.
Fuck it. Whatever. 20 points of luck, take it.
What does Mandy think when he sees Ethel just kind of nod and go, okay, and abandon him?
You're a brave man. Braver man than I've ever met before, Mandy. Bye.
Oh, I wish she hadn't left me.
Okay.
No, it's fine. This is it's good. It's character building. He thinks to himself.
All right. So, out on the ledge, Dr. Smythe. So you see Ethel swing around and skillfully manage to like. What's your tactic? Are you like sliding down, or is it like kind of holding yourself up with all your body weight and just dropping?
She's gonna take her big skirts and tie them in a knot, and then just kind of shuffle down onto her bum, and then slide.
Fantastic.
And then when she reaches kind of towards the bottom, she's gonna grab something and just brute strength stop herself from falling, and
Brilliant.
then gently get off the edge.
You manage to swing down, land at the edge, nip over towards Dr. Smythe, and before long, the two of you are crouched, watching the now much smaller figure of Mandy alone on the ledge. Mandy. Oh, sorry. After you.
I couldn't. You didn't want to climb down. You didn't think you could make. He's gonna hide up there until she's done, and then maybe I'd go back in. So we should stay in the area, I guess. There's a back door around the other side, and maybe when he goes back in, we can go around and I can trim the lock a little bit.
You're assuming, of course, that she won't be in that room until daybreak, at which time any person on the roof is going to be eminently visible against that particular shade of bronze.
Oh, yeah, I feel that we'll make a distraction or some kind of problem nearby. Skedaddle before we get caught and give Mandy a chance to get on gone.
I did have a wonderful conversation with the members of the congregation. They invited me back for a sermon tomorrow morning or evening, so perhaps that would do as a distraction.
Well, by then it'll be light, so same problem. I mean, we can look, if it takes too long, we'll go around, unlock the door so we can get out, cause a ruckus in the other side of the alleyway, I guess, and skedaddle and get on gone.
Alternatively, he can just jump.
He could just. I don't think he's gonna though. The indicated that was not the preference.
Well then, I suppose we can find a bench or somewhere to deposit ourselves and wait for our reticent companion to come down.
Quite. Are there any like street vendors selling, just because street tacos or something?
Yeah,
sent
street
on
tacos.
A beach, so sure.
Yeah,
Have a couple of street tacos and kip up on a bench nearby.
Yeah, a beer, just sit down, have a chat. It's lovely. You can absolutely go and sort yourself out. But first of all, we will see whether Mandy holds true to his principles. Mandy, what's going through your head?
This is good. This is what it's all about. I'm doing it and it's difficult, but if I do it this time, it's going to be easier next time. You know?
Fantastic. Yeah. What I'm going to ask you to do is make a stealth check. I'm not going to give you a bonus die, and that's because there's sort of a lot of factors here. You disturbed Wilma's room, and she might notice that. You are hidden from her within the office, but you're also kind of right at the window and in a very difficult position, and if you have to kind of move around, you could which since you're kind of perched, you might need to, you could potentially give yourself away. So we're going to call it a wash, and we're going to make it a standard stealth roll as you hear her move into her office. Oh, that
18 points. That's worth it. That's worth it.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
It's
Okay.
like my climb check. It's worth it.
Fantastic. So
I mean, Mandy has very few skills, especially the skills that a PI and a cop needs. But he did start out with a lot of luck. So, that's what I'm hoping will carry me through.
You're all good. So, held up, staying as still as you can, you wait, and then at the last minute, remember that you have to shut the window. Zoom around, grab the window, pull it shut, and duck down under the ledge, just as you see a shadow move in, blocking the light to the room. You hear footsteps above you. The window opens again, and you can hear Wilma kind of look out and sigh for a second, then turn around.
Because somewhere there's the cultist for her looking out a window at the same moon.
Exactly. And go back, and you hear scratching of a pen as she begins to work at her desk. You wait here for a while. Downstairs, Dr. Smythe, Ethel, the two of you, find a bench where you can sort of just see Mandy. You sit down, you eat, you talk. No?
I prefer sweetmeats to standard kind of taco situation. Thank you. I'll pull out a little something that I packed myself. It smells pungent.
You're an unusual man, Doctor.
Am I? That seems normal enough for me. And we'll also like pull out some of the like newspaper clippings, and by clippings I mean slicings, and like in a little sort of notebook, and start like going through and thinking about the conversation I had, and again just trying to do the red string board in my head.
Brilliant. Okay.
Well, eat tacos.
Yeah. I was about to say, Ethel, you're probably not the kind of woman who minds if you have to eat 2 helpings of tacos. So sitting
kind of
there,
hoping for it, actually.
Exactly. Sitting there waiting.
Oh no! What a waste! Oh no!
Mandy, up on the ledge. You said the one skill you really have is luck. Can you make me a luck check?
Oh. Well, I don't have any more. That's how it works. There you go.
In which case, the minutes, hours start to slowly go by, and you are trapped perched. Your every muscle begins to cramp. There is not enough space there. You keep on leaning over, looking down, thinking about just rolling off, and then thinking about how lovely your legs would shatter if they were forced to. And then eventually, you can bear the pain no more, and you need to shift positions. Wilma is going to leave, but before she does, you will need to make one more stealth roll to remain hidden from her.
I can't fail a stealth roll 4 times in one session. I can't.
You can't.
That's not allowed. Mathematically speaking, it's impossible. My stealth is 50.
And you know what? I will say, at this point, she hasn't realized that you've disturbed anything, and you are out on the ledge. You can have a bonus die for this, I think. I am a generous
I kind of don't want it.
I
I don't need it.
Is it actually? Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Throw it aside. Let's see.
You know, I'll take it. It's still on offer.
It's still on offer. You can take it.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, thank goodness. 41 under 50.
Hiding out on the ledge, you have to move. You peek up slowly, your eyes just coming over the ridge. You see Wilma's pen stop. She's scratching, working on something, writing together notes. Looks like she's going through a book of accounts. And she tilts her head, but she doesn't react. She goes back to her work. And eventually, she will shut up the book. And while you're hanging there watching, you see her walk across the room, peel back the painting, revealing the safe. Open it up.
Do you catch the code?
Yeah.
Do you want to make a spot hidden check?
Now you're gonna make me do a spot hidden
I'm gonna
check,
make you do a
and then
spot
I'm
hidden
gonna
check.
push it to see if I'm gonna.
Let's see.
Yeah.
She's standing in the way, I'm afraid. If you wanted to, you could try and move into the room a little bit to just see if you could do it.
No.
Okay. You see her mess around. She puts the papers into the safe, shuts the safe, pulls the picture back over, and she leaves the room. You wait a couple of minutes to make sure she is gone, and then at last you can pull up the window ledge, pull up the window frame, slide back in, stretch your aching muscles. Downstairs, Ethel and Dr. Smythe, you at last see Mandy move.
There he goes.
Dr. Smythe has been this entire time, like, just talking at Ethel, just at, about like all of the aspects of the occultism that he's discovered. He's going over probably a lot of it like sounds like because it's academic to someone who is faith-based, it probably sounds kind of blasphemous in some aspects, but like
I feel like Ethel's probably used to it at this point. She's like, yep, oh yeah, mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that like different religions approach this in different ways, and it's fascinating to hear other kinds of views on this.
There he goes. Oh, look at him go. Oh, he's back in. He's there he goes. Yeah.
Should we
I don't think I'd be that nimble after that long on when the one spot. He was there for a while.
At this stage, you're not sure if Mandy has actually managed to sneak in or has just given up on perching on a ledge and decided to face death. But no, you step inside Mandy, you are free. And you know the way out. You've succeeded you've succeeded enough stealth checks. I think you are going to be able to sneak out through the back door and leave.
Wait.
Assuming you don't want to do anything else first.
I want to see if I can get to that safe.
Okay. Creep forward.
What was she doing? Did I see put something in, take something out, just look?
She put something in.
Okay. That's good. I'm gonna get that thing out.
Okay.
Do you have any locksmithing?
I got one.
Okay.
Thank you very much. One locksmith.
Okay.
I mean, I've got lots, so you could always signal to Ethel, and Ethel could try and come up.
That's what I'll do. Yeah. I think I better. Yeah, that's fine. Nothing can go wrong.
Or if you can, I don't know, let her in. Use a couple more stealth checks and a locksmith check.
I'll have a go first.
Okay.
I'll have a go first. I got a 1 in 100 chance.
Yeah.
All right.
2 in 100 if I get a bonus die.
And just to be clear, you have a 1 in 100 chance of succeeding, and you have a 4 in 100 chance of fumbling.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 100. 1 in 20 chance. 1 in 100 chance of succeeding. 1 in 20 chance of fumbling.
Jackson, would you like to make a locksmith check?
Thank you, I will.
Here we go. Oh, please fumble. Please fumble.
This is please fumble.
Oh!
Oh, it's luckable. No,
Is
it's
it?
not. I spent it all.
You head over, like, kind of turn the dial once and just... you don't know how to do this. You have no idea. You could sneak out now. You could head over and you could try and signal to Ethel, see if she can climb up the side of this
Or we can do it tomorrow.
strange church. You could head in tomorrow.
Let me try one more thing, which is looking around and finding the combination.
She's written it on a bit of paper and stuck it into a
post-it
date book.
note. Yeah, under the desk. I look for a journal. Well, okay, no. I'll go outside and signal all clear. I'm gonna try to get into the safe. I found the safe. It was painting. It was behind the painting. So that's where I'm gonna try. If you want to come up and have a go, then you can. But I'm gonna keep trying.
For anyone playing along at home, that was all signaled and not actually said to us out loud.
I think I think he's doing some more stuff in there. Do we want to go up or do you, I don't know. I think he's doing some more. I didn't get all that, but I think he's doing some more stuff up there.
Do you not think we've pushed our luck quite enough this evening?
Oh.
Everything's...
Absolutely. But he's just a little guy.
Yes, he seems to get into a lot of trouble.
Just a little scamp.
It's Ethel and Dr. Smythe. It's up to the two of you. Are you gonna?
Well, I don't have many skills that would assist either of you in this particular situation. I'm good at apparently talking to people. That's unusual, but
yeah, you kind of fit right in here, don't you?
Yes, it's nice to be wanted.
That's worrying. Yeah, it's a worry.
Is it? Well,
Can I
if
see
you...
any lights on?
You might be able to see one or two lights occasionally flickering on around the bottom, but there is no evidence of significant activity. If you get caught sneaking around here, it will be because you woke somebody or because you were incredibly unlucky.
I also assume at this point it is early morning because we have fucked around for a very long time.
It is real late in the night here. You're more
Yeah.
early morning, yeah. It's up to the two of you. Mandy's signaling.
I will not.
I will. I'll go back. I'll go back up.
Oh, I
Michael.
probably
climbers.
should have mentioned before you go, and you should mention this to Mandy as well. I did have a run-in with one of the local mob. They apparently we helped them or someone they know. Yeah.
Right, the funny guy with the kind of with the greasy and the the guy. No. What if you saw him? He was like a really distinct. You'd know him. You'd know him.
Well, I didn't know this gentleman, but they gave us very strong advice to stay away. Anyway, I thought you'd like to know that before you head back inside, just in case that was relevant.
The mob said these guys you should stay away. Wow, that probably is relevant.
He was also seemingly concerned for his well-being after telling me such a thing.
Wow. You know, that kind of means that I gotta go inside a little bit more.
Well,
Unfortunately,
I'm glad that the information was pertinent to your choice.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna go in there.
Okay.
If we don't come out, I guess go to the sermon tomorrow and
I'll
do
tell
what
your
you
family you love them.
Yep.
If I can find them.
You step away.
They're in Utah.
I'm moving you right along because the moon is only going to hide your actions for so long before the sun comes back. You dart across. Mandy, you can make, if you would like, I'm actually going to ask you for a library use check to try and go through all of the effects here, because you've checked all of the standard locations from your spot hidden check. You haven't found anything there, really. So it's going to be a case of going through the effects, trying to find something in a book. Or if you would like, you can be hanging something out a window, find like a curtain or whatever, to try and help Ethel get up. Provide a bonus die. We will never know because Mandy is unfortunately muted. Here we are.
Sorry. No, if I can get the safe open on my own without anybody's help, then that's what I'll do.
Determination. I love to see it. Mandy, can you please make for me a library use check? Ethel, can you please make for me a climb check? Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can luck that. I'm going up.
With 1 point of luck, Ethel, you go skyrocketing. It's a lot harder to climb up than it was down, but you are strong, and even without like proper handholds, you were just using your strength to kind of slap and wide-handed climb up this thing.
Just a series of pull-ups.
Exactly. 1, 2, jumping straight up until it lasts. You're swinging through the window. Meanwhile, Mandy...
But you're too slow.
Mandy, you are going through all of these books, one by one by one by one. And there's no post-it note with anything that is like particularly visible.
But I'm looking for significant like dates, birth dates.
Yeah, and that is exactly where you manage to find the answer. And specifically, as you were going through again and again, you keep on looking at this damned picture, feeling tenser and tenser, feeling like you're being mocked by the picture of Jesus doing the Sermon on the Mount. At one point, you're flipping through a Bible, and then suddenly you go, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Googling.
I'll give you time. I'll give you time.
Sermon on the Mount starts in Matthew 5:3-12. Is that right?
You are able to step forward, and with a little bit of maneuvering, you have to try a couple of different interpretations to get exactly which series of numbers were decided on. But you are able to use the biblical reference of the Sermon on the Mount to click open the safe, swing it open, and just as Ethel, you swing in, you see Mandy crack like a, and for reference, it's like a, I don't know about safes, but it's like a, you know,
It's serious.
it's a serious thing.
serious
It's a Wesson 6.4, you know, unbreakable
Yep.
safe, and he just spins it open, revealing the contents.
Well done, Mandy.
Well, it's not so hard when you're a professional.
Yeah, let's get that stuff and get out of here, okay? Apparently the mob is scared of these guys. Let's get out of, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's in the safe?
There are a couple of things. First of all, there are three, count them, three spooky-looking, intense, hardcore like tomes bound in weird bindings, you know, thick volumes, and there is also a pack of Dr. Smythe is ecstatic, and there
Downstairs, Dr. Smythe doesn't know what's happening, but downstairs it's like
something happened.
Yeah.
I can't
I
tell.
think it's just like Smythe is thinking, and then it's just like, there's been a change. I can feel a movement in the force.
And there is also a binder full of accounts and very serious legal documents. Listing property deeds, plans, architects' information. This is good. This is a very, very significant collection of data, and you're able to grab through.
Sweep it into my handbag.
Exactly.
Big handbag.
And then the two of you can turn around, and at last, unless there's anything else you would like to do before leaving, like, I don't know, spill something on the desk as a final screw you, shut the safe,
Nope.
shut the picture, turn away, and Ethel, you probably clambering down, Mandy, you probably sneaking through the passageways that you know, you can break out and regather in that final pool of light before you'll be able to escape the Society of the Angelic One's church and get back to safety. Is there any conversation the three of you would like to have beforehand? You haven't had a
Not
chance to look
here.
at the documents yet.
I've got the handbag like pulled real close and I'm like, we got some stuff, but not here, absolutely not here. Let's go.
I believe
I gotta go.
my abode may be the closest.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Very
And
good.
Ethel's enthusiastic consent of going to Dr. Smythe's house indicates that whatever they've got, it's big.
Fantastic. So, the three
We
of
did
you.
it.
You did it. You did it.
You did it. Well done. The three
Extreme
of you.
did
success.
it.
You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
You did it.
Three of you rush
Ah.
away. You will be able to get to Dr. Smythe's home. You will be able to crash for the evening, and you will be able to, at last, rest. Would you please tell us a little bit about your home, Dr. Smythe? By the time you arrive, it's morning, so like there's people bustling around on the streets, and you walk up to it. But give us a depiction of your home.
Oh, Edwardian Adams family.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Just, vaguely morgue-like, except slightly more comfortable furnishings. It's very dim. There's not a lot of light, simply because I don't like a huge amount. And there is absolutely a flight of stairs that goes down. And as we walk in, I just say, please don't go down there if you don't mind.
Wasn't gonna.
It is a surgery / morgue / various thing, which is just working space. But yeah, more as a probably it's a private area.
Okay, perfect.
But I do have the living area is very comfortable, if a little old-ish in style, and there's a faint smell of sort of mothballs, but there's a comfortable fireplace, some dusty cushions, and the two of them can get set up very comfortably, and there is a wealth of tomes or various medical textbooks from various ages, anatomy. There's books on like pharmacology, some chemistry, general tomes about biology more generally, whether that's human, animal, or plant. and then some interesting books that seem to talk about like resurrectionists, which are not really something that I think a lot of people are familiar with, but it's just like there's a couple of like odd ones with some strange titles.
Oh, I'm familiar, and I hate it. Ethel's gonna look at the shelves, look at I just met. Decide not to say anything. Open her handbag. I believe these are your more your area than ours, and kind of slap them on the coffee table. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get some shut eye. I'm gonna look at the shelves again, cross myself, and just sideways on the couch. Ethel snores loudly.
What an amateur! Just one all-nighter and she's already passed out. Man, I'm raring to go. I'm gonna help you.
Immediately.
Bless both of them. I am more of a nocturnal being, so I will spend a little bit longer perusing these books and having a general skim before I study them properly, but I will eventually take some rest closer to the dawn and sleep for most of the morning and into the mid-afternoon.
Okay, that sounds perfect. So you begin to read some of these more sinister tomes. Now you are going to be spending a lot of time up, but considering that you spent quite a great deal of the night basically sitting on a bench waiting, I think you have a bit more energy. There are 2 roles that I would like here. I would like from you either an occult roll, or I would like from you an accounting roll. An accounting roll is to go through the legal documents. You'll be able to skim them, and you'll be able to get some general information regardless. But yes, the occult roll is the big one.
I do not have accounting, so I will give you an occult roll for this one.
Okay, fantastic.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Is this going to be tiered, or is this just a like? I just need to succeed.
This is
to get a general gist.
This is just a flat. This is just a basic one.
You may have 19 points of luck for that, and that is a-okay with me.
Okay, fantastic.
That still leaves me with more than Mandy. Just.
So, you leave the documents to the side, and you really only take a very, very quick peruse through them. The key information that you find is this seems to be a list of holdings. This is in the legal documents. This is a list of holdings that the church has. There are a couple of key places that you can sort of list off. And you will notice in particular that there seem to be a lot of beachfront properties. You also notice that there is a smattering of properties all in an area a little bit outside of Los Angeles, like a collection of odd holdings, like a farm, a gas station, all kind of in this one wooded area at the edge of the city. But without, a real kind of legal mind for this, or without being able to go through the logistics in detail, you don't find any specific locations that stand out, and you're not able to narrow down the areas hugely. The occult tomes, though, you have more insight into. There are 3 tomes. I'm going to give you the titles to them, and tragically, Art, I will say that because of the scope of this scenario, you might not be able to get a detailed reading done on all of them. But you have found 3 Mythos tomes, a copy of Invocations to Dagon, a copy of the Sussex manuscript, and an English translation of something called the Rillier text. You begin to read out these things, and you know a little bit about the Cthulhu mythos. You have some points, and you are positively vibrating. This is a wealth of information. From a skim reading, which you're only beginning, by the way, you're not going to get any significant spells. You're not going to get anything sort of too wild. But between what you read here, and there are several annotated notes that appear to have been made by Wilma Cartwright. You presume there's a single hand that has been doing a bunch of research around here. And based on the conversations that you had with Louise and with the rest of the church, you begin to suspect, first of all, that there is another sect at play here. The Society of the Angelic Ones are not the only people who are influencing the way that the worship is going and who are influencing the uncovering of mythos knowledge. And whoever this other sect is, they appear to be very linked to the aspects of these tomes related to water and related to the sea. You can't help but remember the ledgers in the accounts book that mention beachfront properties. Would you make for me a Cthulhu Mythos check very quickly?
Most certainly. Where is my character sheet? Oh, there you are. Hello.
Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, no success. Now, to players and to, I think, most audience members, so I'll be a little pig, the word Deep One does not enter the investigator's vocabulary, but I think that it might very easily enter into the thoughts of players. You also find reference to some kind of spell, some kind of process, and it appears to be annotated by Louise in a way that implies, you know, she has filtered her own butchered theosophy into this kind of mythos magic, and she seems to be convinced that someone powerful enough, an angel is the way she puts it, might be able to definitively contact and receive knowledge from a powerful mythos being if enough preparation and specifically enough sacrifices are made to induce the being into appearing. You can see a variety of, you know, charts, calculations, timings, and it occurs to you that the stars will be right the day after tomorrow, and that is, you are in the morning, so you're by the time you kind of finish these texts, it's the morning, and the day after tomorrow, you would suspect that the stars will be right for whatever grand ritual or grand process this is.
So we've got 3 days if you count like this one. So this one tomorrow, and then the day after. And I'm assuming if the stars are aligned, it'll be nighttime. So
that, based on what you will be reading, that seems to be correct. You have a couple of leads. You have mentions of these beach houses. You have mentions of properties. If you could get some more information out of these accounts, you could probably narrow things down further. You have a link to the mob. You're not exactly sure where that goes, but it seems like there is more information to be found following that thread. Finally, of course, you have the mention of Mr. Donovan, your old friend, who also might be able to share that information, and you have the open invitation to a meeting at the church. The next morning, the three of you are going to be able to awake, gather together.
Yeah, afternoonish.
Afternoon. Yeah, it's you have a proper sleep.
We stayed out all night.
You do.
I'm no spring chicken here, so...
You can head to a nearby diner. You can all grab some food together, and you can go through...
Black coffee for the doctor.
I do offer to make breakfast, but...
No, thank you. Pass.
No.
There's a diner down the street. I'm good with that. Thank you for your hospitality. I'd like to get out of here. Thanks very much. The smell is not doing good things to my constitution. Lovely place you've got. Thanks for can we skedaddle? Thank you.
Of course.
I skedaddle.
All right.
Yeah.
I rolled to skedaddle.
There's a smell wafting up the stairs, I think, and it's from the basement. It's not like a bad. It's not like a rotting smell. I'm guessing it's like disinfectant, and there's something underneath.
It just smells like a hospital with a little bit of formaldehyde floating on the breeze.
There's something underneath, isn't there?
It's a little. It's got a weird sweetness to it.
Something coppery,
Oh,
maybe.
no.
A bit of saturine, kind of that kind of. Yeah, no. Nope.
Soon, the three of you will be sitting down and you'll be able to go through everything. We are approaching the end of the session, so I would ask the three of you to make your plans and decide what path you intend to follow next. You can share information, you can make theories. What's the go?
I will share everything that I have uncovered, mentioning that there are legal documents that we may want to take to some kind of solicitor or some kind of, bank if we wanted, unless someone,
Can I have a
one
quick
of you
go?
two has accounting. There
Can I have
is.
a go with law?
Yep, you can have a go at floor. That makes total sense to me.
Just to help us.
Sure.
Hey,
Finally.
You're doing a whole thing where you're like, how we're gonna have to go through this in detail. We're gonna have to get a solicitor, but then Mandy, you drag the documentation across, and you are able to go through things. First of all, the properties at the edge of Los Angeles are specifically all on the edge of the Los Angeles National Forest. The Angeles National Forest, and the largest structure is a gas station out there. Everything else, they appear to have bought out land surrounding it, specifically land that appears to border the forest itself. Finally, there are a collection of homes all along the beachfront, and all of them are in the name of Wilma Cartwright, the owner of the Society of the Angelic Ones, except for one of them, which Wilma Cartwright has transferred, and she has transferred ownership to somebody by the name of Carl Mann, Mann, and included amongst the documentation is a letter of thanks where Carl Mann writes to Wilma and says, "You have done the right thing by me and my family." And he also refers to the home that was given over as a holy place. You have that address.
Nice.
All right. So yeah,
I was going to say that's a fake name if I ever heard one. Carl Mann.
I am Man.
But no,
Yes,
it sounds
I am
like
Mr.
it's a real
Man.
person.
All right, so we've got the Command property. We have the holding out in the forest. We have the mob, and we also have like the church again. Although I feel we possibly have
might want a little more information.
If we want more.
Yeah.
So. I am, well, while I am very interested to find out why the mob is concerned about this particular sect and why they would be worried about informing us, or at least why they would be worried about other, like, their members, given that it was someone was going out of their way, I don't know that, like, that one seems like we'd have to make a bunch of social rolls, and we might not get much.
Or have somebody with criminal contacts, just saying.
Look, that too. That is definitely an option for, like, why they're worried and what they know. In terms of, like, the ritual stuff, I think that's just, like, continuing to study is what, like, for me, that would be.
I think, yeah, like, if we need more information and potentially ways to stop them, I reckon the mob's a good option, but maybe not today. Maybe that's a tomorrow thing when we have a little bit more understanding of what we're dealing with here. You reckon we've got a couple of days, right? So we can maybe mob tomorrow night. Once we know what we're doing a little bit better. We don't want to go to them underprepared, basically. We want them to have confidence that we can actually do something. If we would like to enlist their help or get information from them, they need to be confident in our abilities.
I mean, we got all this stuff out of the safe. That's a vote of confidence, ain't it?
It is.
Knowing is half the battle, but the other half is winning.
Yeah. So what? I mean, do we want to check out some of these other properties?
How far out are the properties, Jim? Are they like?
The properties out in the woodlands? That's a proper day trip. The properties out along the beachfront, that's not far at all. You could head there on a streetcar. You could get a cab over. Yeah, really not that far.
We've got an afternoon and a night, and then another day, and then another day, and then it'll happen.
I mean,
Should we pick one at random? Throw a dart?
I
what we
reckon check
find?
out the properties are close by. I mean, they're here.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
look, whatever we find there, if we decide that we would like more information from the mob, they're not that easy to find during the day. I'm gonna be honest. They're night people.
Why don't you, Ethel, put a word out through your contacts that we like a word with the mob,
I would
and then
rather,
they can
I would rather
decide.
not. I don't do that. I'm not in that life anymore.
Miss
I'm not about
Winters.
that.
Your contacts.
Last resort. They're bad
No.
people. They're dangerous.
But if we
Last
can
resort.
But if we can use them to help people, I think that's worth it.
Oh yeah, but there's always a cost. They don't do anything for free. It's always a tit for tat, quid pro quo bullshit. They're not last resort.
All right.
I can't, but let's consider them a last resort. I'm not about that life anymore.
I would like to find out what happened to Gil. He was an acquaintance of mine, one that actually seemed to not mind spending time in my company.
Okay.
All right.
So,
The plan.
sounds like you have a plan. You were going to be checking out the properties out at the edge, not at the edge of the Los Angeles, but at the edge of the beach. You are going to reach out to Gil, and as a last resort, Ethel, you might put the feeler out to your contacts. Just to keep us on the edge of our seats, can I get you to talk about your character's significant person?
Well, I've got Sebastian, good friend of mine. We grew up together. We came up together. We moved to the city together. Very, very good friend. I introduced him to his wife, a lovely lady. But I went straight and he didn't, and we just don't talk any. It's not good for him if I talk to him, and it's definitely not good for me.
If Ethel decides to reach out, she might find that Sebastian has recently taken on a much more senior role in the Los Angeles criminal world.
Yeah, we haven't spoken in years, and it's best. I've probably seen his name in the paper, so I might know that.
I think
just, it's not.
I think
it's not good for either of us.
Exactly. So it's definitely a dangerous thread to pull on. Meanwhile, Dr. Smythe, Mandy, there is plenty that you can explore without having to lean on Ethel's context, and we will pick back up next time as the collection of you head out to investigate the mysterious Mr. Man, who is absolutely a man.
Absolutely
A real
not
person.
a fish
A
person.
real man, a human person.
Exactly.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy. Yep. And also putting area to the ground for Dr. Smythe's mate.
Yes, exactly. So that is it then for today. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It was great to have you here, and we really appreciate you joining us for the second episode of Angel's Thirst. We will be back next week for episode 3. Thank you to the fantastic cast. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Alex. Brilliant to
Thank you, Jim.
have you
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
We remember you can pick up.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat. Yes, remember you can pick up Cults of Cthulhu from Chaosium.com or from your friendly local game store. Check out the White Bull this weekend if you'd like to see the Chaosium House RuneQuest campaign, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.